All right. Today on the podcast, I'm super excited to bring you our guest. We have Martine Williams. Martine is a life coach, public motivator, podcaster, and mompreneur. She knows what it takes to build a business from the ground up while prioritizing time with her husband and 2 sons. Martine became a thriving entrepreneur, heading a multimillion-dollar organization, leading and coaching nearly 28,000 women over her more than 15 years as a leader and national speaker. Martine found her passion for helping other women achieve success in business and at home. She knows the struggles all mompreneurs face, how to find harmony without experiencing serious burnout. Through her Illuminate You Coaching, she delivers a proven approach for helping women focus on what matters most, grow a successful business, and embrace the value of their worth along the way. Martine discovered a secret: being stuck is a mindset, not a position. And now she is here to show you how to find that same clarity over chaos. Through the research-based ProScan survey and her specialized coaching, she is helping mompreneurs shift their mindset so they can illuminate their strengths, cultivate their confidence, and elevate their life. Awesome. Martine, what a bio. I'm
Well,
so
thank you.
excited to talk to you today and just to hear,
Mhm.
hear your wisdom. Even if I think somebody's listening to this that's not a mompreneur, I know we're
Yeah.
just going to gain, so much, from what you have to teach us. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. And it's always interesting to hear people read the bio. I'm like, but I want all listeners to know, like, I'm just like you. I put my pants on the same way you do, one leg at a time. It's like we have all these accolades and things like that, but I am as real as I can be. And that's really what I want to do in this podcast. Just have an honest conversation about mom life, whether you are an entrepreneur or whether you're working in corporate, like we all struggle with the same things, just in different seasons. Thankfully, we're not all struggling with the same things at the same time. This world would be a mess. But
Yes.
thank you for, giving me the opportunity to come on and encourage a mom today.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So I'd love to know, like, how, did you have your own story of being stuck that kind of led you to do the work that you do? Or I'd love to hear kind of just the background of.
Yeah. So I've had several stuck moments in my life. And the first one was really very early on. This is before I became an entrepreneur. I married my high school crush and, thought we would just live happily ever after, and the white picket fence, like all of the things that you think as a young girl, right, growing up. And I quickly realized that that was a really high expectation of myself and of him. And, he has a lot of hobbies. My husband, he loves to hunt and to fish and do all of those things, very independent person. And I, at the time, didn't have anything for myself. And I just remember every Saturday, I would just have this bitterness come over me because he would go again, right, to hunt or fish or do one of the things that he loved to do. And one Saturday, I finally was just like, phone a friend, because that's what we do when we're upset, with our spouse or whatever, we call our friend. And thankfully I called the right friend, who is a mentor of mine. She still is today. And I was, complaining. I can't believe he's gone again, all the things. And one statement literally changed the course of my life. And she said, "He's not wrong. You need to find something to do."
Mm.
And that's exactly what she heard on the other end of the phone. Complete silence. Because I was like, what? Like, women, we're supposed to stick together here. You're supposed to agree with me. And, I'm just so thankful that she spoke truth in love and told me what I really needed to hear and not what I wanted to hear, because I did feel stuck in that moment. And I realized that it really was just a mindset that I was stuck, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. It was just, I didn't have anything for myself that was filling my own cup. And that I felt like, I was a mom, one child at home at the time, and I loved being a mom, but I know I was made for more. And I want to say to the mom that's listening today, maybe you're not, maybe you know that you were called to be at home, and that's your primary role. And that's beautiful. And that's amazing too. But if you are feeling that nudge and you're starting to see some resentment, or you're feeling stuck, there could be more for you that you need to be pursuing. Right. And so I literally, I don't know if I would have ever pursued entrepreneurship, if I would still be married today, if I would have my second son, had I not had that mentor in my life to kind of help me shift that perspective and be like, he's not wrong. You just need something for yourself.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's so
So,
cool. So how did things kind of progress from there?
yeah. So then I had the mindset shift, and then I had a decision to make, and I really want people to hear that too, is it's a decision to do something different. It's a decision to not remain stuck. It's a decision to change the mindset first, but also then put action behind it. And so I really just started reaching out to other moms to get together for like movie nights and things like that. And, that worked for a little while. And then my sister-in-law just happened to be sharing with me one day this amazing company that she found that had these personalized gifts. I'm in the South, and we pretty much put our names on everything down here. So everything was monogrammed, personalization. I'd never seen anything like that before. And so I went to the website and I saw that it was a faith-based business. That was really important to me at the time, still is. But I also saw these products and I thought, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. And they had a business opportunity. My previous background, I was an exercise science major. So I worked in cardiac rehab for 7 years, and I loved that job because I was helping people. And so when I left that to become a mom, stay-at-home mom, I really just didn't know, what am I going to do next? Like, I know I love helping people. And when I saw this business opportunity, I thought, how am I going to help people selling bags? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. But I had a real reason why I needed something for myself, right? It was this wanting to help my marriage be better, wanting to help me have that confidence and have something else for myself. So it was like $99 to start this business. I had, built-in marketing plan, built-in product, products that I didn't have to create on my own. And so I just jumped in with both feet, nervous as all get out, not knowing, what I was going to do and how I was going to stand up in front of people and talk, which is really funny now because I get up in front of thousands and speak on stage. But getting in front of 10 people at that time was nervous. It was anxious for me. But again, when you know the real reasons why you want to do something, you're able to kind of push through that and not be stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's a huge why, right? Your family and that's definitely, I think a big why for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I grew that business very quickly. And about 5-6 years in, interesting enough, I kind of found myself back in that same place of feeling resentful. And I remember I was preparing a training for my team, and we were going through the Success Principles by Jack Canfield. It's a great book for those that are listening. I may reference several books, but it's a really thick book. So don't be intimidated by it. It's not a book where you have to go from the chapter 1 to the end. You can really kind of skip around. But one of the things that had us do was kind of rate these different areas of our life and set goals based on these 10 key areas of your life. And I'm like, doing the work before, because I always do the work before my team. And so I'm working through it myself. And I remember where I was sitting on the couch when I kept skipping over this one area. I just could not think of anything to set a goal. And so I'm like, I just come back to that. I'm just going to come back to that. And then it kind of was like down to the wire. Like, I have to write something in here. I have to figure this out. And I just remember sitting there on the couch with tears rolling down my face because the section was on hobby and recreation. And I couldn't think of one thing that I wanted to do for myself for fun, because I had been on this, growing this business very quickly, growing my family very quickly. And so being that mom, being that entrepreneur, and being the wife, I kind of lost myself in the process. And I remember looking at my husband, he was sitting on the chair beside the couch. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can I not think of anything to put in here? Like, this is ridiculous. And so that really was the catalyst for coaching. That was a catalyst for creating my first course that I created. It was called Choose You. And I just started to see like more women that I was working with and that I was leading on my team with that same blank look on their face. Like, who am I? Like, what happened to her? Where is she? She got lost in this pursuit of success. And, what started out as really kind of a hobby for me became a full-time career. And so that's where I kind of went back to that resentment. He would go and do his things. I'm like, okay, well, now I'm a mom and I'm working really hard in this business. And it was no longer it was fun. I don't want to say that. It really was fun. I still love what I do, but it was still, I needed something for myself. I was kind of back in that same place, back in that stuck in my, mindset and stuck in the things that I was doing, I was not doing. So that's kind of like the two part to my story and why I became a coach and why I decided to do the things that I'm doing today.
Yeah.
It's so common.
Wow.
It's so common.
I was going to say that I mean, I can identify with that of just feeling like I became a mom and there's just parts of me that don't feel like there's room for them anymore.
Right. Right.
You know,
right.
I think many women can identify, or moms, can identify with that. Uh-huh.
Well, and we have these stories on repeat, right? We start saying like, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. And that's why I always try to tell people like, it's a mindset. It's like as a mindset on a position, you are literally one idea implemented away from your next breakthrough, from your next success. But you have to stop telling yourself that you're stuck. Because if you do that, your brain's going to automatically go to see all the ways that you're stuck, right? But if you're able to say to yourself, I am working towards being unstuck, then your brain's going to start looking for ways to help you to be unstuck. So it's really starting with your thoughts. It's starting with, what you're telling yourself. And having those people, like I said, my friend's name was Pat, like everybody needs a Pat. I say that all the time. Everybody needs a Pat in their life who are willing to say the hard things to you to kind of like jolt your brain out of that mindset. That's why coaching is so important. That's why having a support system, whether it's a mentor, a coach, a community, is so important, because it can feel very isolating as a mom to think like, because we always internalize it, like, what's wrong with me? That was the first thing I thought was, what's wrong with me? It didn't, because on the outside, I saw other moms who looked like they had it all together. Right.
Yeah.
And they weren't struggling with the same things I was struggling, when really we just gotten really great at wearing masks. That's all. Yeah. And the more that we're willing to take off our mask, and that's why I share my story anywhere I can, because the more we take off our mask, the more we give other women permission to do the same thing. And just to say, hey, I'm not okay. I'm not okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. So what am I going to do about it? And who can help me and support me in getting to that next step?
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. I'm just like going, oh my gosh. It's like speaking to my heart here.
Yes. It's a hard journey, but
Yeah.
we don't have to do it alone. We really don't have to do it alone. There's so many resources out there. I mean, this podcast, for example, I tell my clients all the time, and anybody that I get a chance to talk to, I'm like, if you are not listening to podcasts, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
It's a free resource, really. Yeah. And some of my best mentors, when I didn't have the money to invest in coaching or a program, was listening to podcasts. Yeah. And just staying connected and finding the right people who are sending the right messages, right? Because there's lots of things you can be listening to. You just want to make sure you're putting the right things in, because trash in, trash out, right? Good in, good out.
Well, and to shout out, you have a podcast, right?
Yes,
so
I do.
That's one people could listen to. I'm just curious, what are some other podcasts that you listen to that?
So right now I'm listening to, I've listened to for a long time for business. I've listened to, the Shalene Show and, what is her business one called?
Shalene Johnson.
Yeah, Shalene Johnson. So, Build Your Tribe is her business one. And then the Shalene Show is just like her personal development one. So I listen to both of those. And right now I've kind of shifted a little bit from listening to podcasts, listening to books on audio, which, it's a little bit more of an investment to buy the book. But I'm just really, I'm really intentional about protecting my mindset. I'm really intentional about, what's going into my mind and starting my day with that. So, and for those that are listening, like, I don't have time for that. You literally are getting ready every day. You can put your earbuds in. And even if it's 10 minutes, if it's 5 minutes, like, just don't have that all or nothing mentality, because 10 minutes, 5 minutes of breath work or walking outside or listening to a podcast, those are all ways that you're taking care of yourself. Don't have that all or nothing. Well, if I don't have time to read, 30 pages or 10 pages in the book, but you have time for 1 page, that's way better than nothing.
Yeah.
Kind of get roped up into that,
Yeah. Well, and then I think we go, if we don't have time and we don't do it, then we keep not doing it. Versus if we did just do 1 page, 10 minutes, 1 page, and kept, and then maybe we would find more opportunity. Versus that kind of staying stuck. I don't have the time. I can't do it. So I'm just not going to try to incorporate it at all.
And if that's your thought, your actions are going to follow that every time. Every time, check your thoughts first, because that's where your feelings are coming from, your emotions, and that's where your actions are coming from. And then, of course, your actions are dictating your results. So it all goes back to your thoughts and what you're telling yourself, which is why I protect it so fiercely.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you kind of start the day with like, what would your morning look like if you're like, getting your mindset,
Yeah.
you know,
So,
ready for the day?
coffee, no talkie for me. I'm just kidding.
Uh,
I do have, but I do have 1 cup, in the morning, and it's not even really about the caffeine or I feel like I need it. It's just like that warm drink in the morning. And I know some of
Me
you are like,
too.
just drink some hot tea. I cannot get myself to drink hot tea. I've tried all the things. If you have a great recipe, you can send it to Lori and she can send it to me. But so, yeah, I mean, I start out with, my devotion, in the morning. And then I walk my dog in the morning. Some mornings, like this morning, is my lifting day. So I work out with a trainer twice a week on lifting.
Mhm.
And I have a Peloton too. So it just depends on the day what I'm doing. But I
Mhm.
always, mindset, movement are the 2 most important things for me. Get my mindset right with a
Yeah.
book or devotional and podcast, and then moving my body, because that's medicine for me.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I think for me too, just moving that
Mm-hmm.
energy even
Yeah.
too, just
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
exercise or walking or whatever you want to,
Yeah.
whatever kind of movement you want to do. So,
And keep it simple. I mean, some people are going to really like I do prefer lifting over cardio, but
mhm.
everybody's different. So just find something, as the background that I have
Yeah.
in exercise science. And I used to tell my patients before they left the program, you've got to find something that you somewhat like to do and that you can
Yes.
stick to. So just keep it
Mhm.
simple. You don't have to go and buy all this equipment. And that's why it's a bazillion-dollar industry. Everything works if you work it. You just got to find the thing that you're actually going to use and that you're going to stick to.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so good. So good.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. I know, if you're like trying to commit to something that I mean, there's okay, being disciplined, but yeah, if you're
Yeah.
like, you're not a dancer and you're trying to do a dance class,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe that's not the thing.
I
And you're,
know. And it is for me. And that's the other thing. Like a lot of my clients, and I'm sure some of the moms listening will relate, when I'm coaching them, I'm helping them to kind of like, figure out what it is they like to do, kind of where I was. I understand how that feels. And so it's important to me for them to have something to kind of work towards. And they like, I like, what would you do if you had an extra 30 minutes today? And a lot of times they just don't know. Like they've been so
yeah.
focused on building the business or building their career or, output, giving out, pouring out, that they don't even know what they enjoy to do for fun anymore. And so we overcomplicate it. We think, well, I'll just go on a plan a week vacation with the girls, and while that's great and that's fun and you should absolutely do that, that is not going to be the thing that changes how you feel, because that's a once a year type of thing. But if you had time to, or if you love taking dance, like I love dance, take an adult dance class. Have a dance party in your office or in your break room
Yeah.
or wherever you work. Like it's the little things. A jam session in the car can just, uplift your spirits. It makes you feel like, hey, I'm focusing on me. This is what's important to me. And we just don't need to complicate and make it expensive. That's the other thought that a lot of moms think, well, it's just going to cost money to take care of myself, or it's going to
Yeah.
cost more money to do this. And some things do, and some things should, right? The transformation comes in the transaction. So if you are investing in the help that you need, you're more likely to show up, right? If you've invested, you got some skin in the game on it, but it doesn't always have to be that extreme. It can be just putting on your tennis shoes and going for a walk. Stepping outside and putting your face in the sun for 5 minutes is a way to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. So, yeah, walk us through like what does it look like to help women? Well, I guess I have 2 questions. Is who are the type of women that you work with in your coaching? Is it mainly mompreneurs? And then what does it look like helping them get unstuck?
Yeah. It definitely is. I mean, the work that I do can help anyone. I mean, I've actually had some men that have asked me to, do the work with the pro skin with them and coach, but my heart is with mompreneurs because that's who I am. That's who I've been. I understand what she's thinking, what she's feeling. And they're from different seasons. Some have littles right now, and that's a very different coaching experience from someone like my client today. Her kids are grown and flown. I mean, they're at college, and one is a professional surfer, and he's just living out his life right now. But the key is really helping them to see who they are. So the work I do with the Pro Scan, it's a personality and performance assessment where It helps you to see how your natural strengths of your personality and your work-life environments are actually influencing real-time performance. So it literally takes 5 or 10 minutes to take. And it's always so funny after a client takes it, like, really, it gave me a 25-page detailed report from a 5-minute survey and it blows their mind. It still blows mine. I just retook mine a couple of weeks ago. And the beautiful thing about the Pro Scan is it's not intended to do one time. It doesn't put you in a box with other people. It doesn't label you as a type or a color or an animal or anything like that. Like, it's really like your unique personality fingerprint is kind of how I like to share that. Wow. because we are unique. No one is the same. And two people can be, let's just take, there's 4 cornerstone personality traits: dominance, extroversion, pace, and conformity. Well, dominance, most people are familiar with. So there could be 2 people who have low dominance in their personality, but the degree in which that dominance is showing up in your personality can dictate how you perform. So like 2 people, like I'm dominance below the midline, which means I'm low in dominance. But my client today is also low in dominance, but she's higher than me. So I actually see her as a more dominant personality when really she's not. Does that make sense? So it's just knowing that degree in your personality and how are you optimizing those strengths that you are naturally born with, or that you've naturally learned and what's the word I'm looking for? Developed over time. How are you using those in your career? Right? How are you using those as a mom and as a wife? And when we can stand in that confidence, then we don't have that mindset of being stuck as much, because we see this is the gifts that I bring to the table. Now, I still have stuck moments, but because I've been so intentional about working on this over the years, that I don't stay there very long. So it's not that we never have stuck moments or we never have negative thoughts again. It's that you're able to catch it quicker, and you catch it, you check it, and you change it. Whatever the mindset is, you can catch it and then you check it. Is it true? Is it just a feeling? Is it someone else's expectations they're putting on me? And then change it if you need to, whatever that mindset is. But you kind of get into the habit and you learn how to do that. And when you know your own strengths, you know how you naturally operate, then you don't ask the question, what's wrong with me, as much. And you don't go into proving energy. So not improving, proving, P-R-O-V-I-N-G, energy. Yeah. When you're trying to prove to others who you are, or that, you're trying to prove that you can perform or that you deserve a seat at that table in your career, then you overwork. And when you overwork, you become burnout. Yeah. And when you overwork, you don't actually create the space and time to fill your own cup. Wow. So that proving energy is really important. So with the Pro Scan, you're able to show up with confident energy. You're no longer trying to prove to anybody who you are, that you deserve to be there. You're able to stand in the confidence that this is what I bring to the table. And this is why I'm great for this job, or why I'm great for this career. And the flip side is knowing these things about yourself also will help you to make better decisions on careers, right? Like, is this really in alignment with my strengths? And it's not that you can't be that other type of personality, because you absolutely can. I did for 16 years when I was building my other business. I had to become very dominant in my personality because I was leading 28,000 women. Like, you have to be that CEO, right? If you're owning your own business. But now I understand that it takes a lot of energy for me to be that person. So that's what the Pro Scan shows, like what degree, how far away am I from that dominant personality? And when I go to dial it up, it just takes a lot of energy. Even today, I'm running my own business still. And there are days where and you get this, where I have to be that CEO and I have to put that CEO hat on. Well, my natural strengths are the support person, the collaborative person, which is why I'm a great coach, because I'm going to nurture you. I'm going to grab, I'm going to pull you under my wing, and I'm going to take care of you. And I'm going to push you to go in the direction and get you from where you are to where you want to be. But there are days I have to be a CEO, right? I have to think about strategy, and I have to think about how I'm going to get in front of people, like all of those things. Those are not my natural strengths, but I can absolutely be that person. It just takes a lot of my energy to do it. So that's the key, is that awareness around your energy.
Yeah. Wow. I can imagine, like, when I think of my clients, when, maybe I go through their labs with them, and I'm showing them, big one is like hormone imbalance. Yep. And they kind of say things like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy. This makes so much sense. I can imagine when you go through somebody's Pro Scan results, it might feel the same way to them. Like, Oh, like I can imagine it just brings a lot of like clarity and maybe understanding to them of
Yeah, I'm
how
not
they're
crazy.
wired.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
crazy. And there's nothing wrong with me. Again, personality is a gift, behavior's a choice. So just because these are your strengths of your personality doesn't mean you get to behave poorly because of them, or you get to say, well, this is just who I am and how I was created. That doesn't get you very far if you have that attitude. And that's a choice to choose to behave that way. But yeah, it's so freeing for them because they know these things internally, right? Like we know this is how I operate, but it's life just pushes people down, or life puts expectations that you got to fit in this mold as a woman, as a mom, as a woman, a career woman. You have to fit this mold. And the fact is, not everybody fits in the same mold. And when you can honor and celebrate your uniqueness, then you can also honor and celebrate the uniquenesses of others. So that helps you to work better with other people. But it is so freeing when they're like, oh my gosh, this is why I procrastinate, or this is why I'm steady and I'm unhurried. Like, this is why I just let things kind of go, where other people are like, let's go now. Like it just really helps them to understand why they think the way they think and why they act the way that they act. And that just brings so much freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now they can communicate it. And for some people, it's like, now I can say on the paper to my spouse, this is why I'm not crazy. This is really how I operate. Like, I'm not just being this woman or this crazy person. Like, this is why I feel the way I feel and why I need what I need and why I do what I do. So yeah, it's awesome. It's so empowering.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the core, foundation, I guess, of, or the meat of how you said you kind of really use that in your coaching with your clients, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, many years prior, I wasn't using that. And as a coach, like if you don't have that tool, you're just guessing how someone operates. You don't really know what their tendencies are. You don't really know how to help them to operate in that strength because you don't really know what that is. And if you ask like the average person, the average mom, she probably would say, yeah, I know I'm strong in this, but she says it, but she doesn't have full confidence of it because she's never really had someone dive into that with her and coach her on that. You may have taken something on the internet. You may have taken some quiz or something that's kind of shoot you out some immediate results, but to the degree and the in-depthness of what the Pro Scan offers, it really does empower them. So everything starts there because as a coach, I don't have to figure out who she is or how she operates to help her get her results. I can see it on paper and we work on that. That's the foundation for everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So somebody's hearing this and is curious about, getting their Pro Scan or, what does it look like can someone just maybe do an assessment, do the Pro Scan, or is that done within the container of coaching?
It's done within the container coaching. You have to go through a certified PDP professional, which I am. And so you would need to get with a certified PDP professional to actually take the Pro Scan. And the reason they do that, I love this about the company. So PDP Global are the people who created the Pro Scan. It's been around for 40 years. Over 5 million people have taken it. It's 96% accurate. So it's very reliable, very, very accurate. And lots of people have taken it and they're constantly testing it and testing it and testing it and getting feedback from people and change. Like even just this week, there was a word they changed on one of the reports that I'm like, I really love that they're just actively trying to make it the best tool possible for people. So yes, you would need to go through a certified PDP professional to actually have it, because if I just gave you the link and told you to go take the Pro Scan, you would not have a full understanding of what it's even telling you. Some of the graphs, people are like, what is this? So you want someone to walk you through it so you actually understand, because here's what I find with other ones is you go and take a personality assessment. Again, I love all of them. I've taken all of them probably. I love this kind of stuff. But you don't actually have someone who walks you through it and coaches you through it on how to, okay, what do I do with this information? Most of us don't have an information problem or a knowledge problem. We have an implementation problem. And so if you don't have someone to kind of walk you through your results and what does that mean for you, it's really hard to optimize your performance based on those results, because at that point, it's just information.
Yeah. Got it. And so I'm just curious, since we're already talking about like, what does your coaching, look like as far as, if somebody's interested in that? And
Yeah.
maybe if they are not a mompreneur, maybe they do work in corporate, you're helping women like that too.
Yes, absolutely. And there's actually two really cool things about the Pro Scan. So I do team development work as well. So if you're on a corporate sales team, or if you lead a team at all, and you'll have kind of like common goals. So again, like corporate sales teams, or like real estate companies and their sales teams, each person could take the Pro Scan, and then we do what we call a team scan. So this is a report that would give that team leader back, okay, here are the strengths of your team. Here's the culture of your team. Here's, we want to make sure the right people are in the right seats, because if they're in the right seats, they're going to perform optimally, right? But if they're in a position in their career that is not in alignment with their strengths, we can make some adjustments and we can absolutely do the job, because we can adapt, right? But for that leader to know this person might actually do better here, right, at this position on the team. Or if you have a project that you're trying to work towards as a team, you can say, okay, this person should probably be the one to direct it, because they have higher dominance and they pay attention to details. So there's just a lot of things we can do as a team scan too. So I do team development coaching as well, but my one-on-one coaching and the team development would be like a workshop style, where I would come on location, and we would do, 4 to 6 hours, depending on what the needs are, of really diving into the individual Pro Scans, but then also the culture of the team. But my one-on-one coaching, like I said, I have mompreneurs, or women, career women from all walks of life, all different stages of their businesses, all stages of life with their kids. And it's a 6-month coaching. So we work together for 6 months, and we meet every week, and we start out with that Pro Scan, and we work through the Pro Scan, really helping you to see your unique strengths and abilities, and where are the stressors, like that real-time piece that'll show, okay, where are you feeling the most pressure right now to perform outside of your strengths? And we talk about that a lot, because that's where the burnout comes from. And some clients are doing really great. Like my client today, her Pro Scan is very healthy. Like she's operating optimally within her strengths. Yeah. But that's she still wants some coaching, right? So everybody comes for different reasons, but that's definitely my passion. That's how the package is set up.
Awesome. Wonderful. Yeah. Cool. I love stuff like this. It's so intriguing. Like I did a podcast interview last week, and they focus on like human design and just any of that, I'm sure, like you said, you've taken a lot of the person Enneagram, or,
Strength Finders, DISC.
Strength Finders. Yeah. What's the, Myers-Briggs? That's what I remember taking like in college. Yeah. Those things, just helping to understand yourself, man. It just, Well,
knowledge is power. Knowledge implemented is even more powerful. So again, no matter what personality assessment you take, again, they're all great, and they're all great for different things. But the key is who is actually coaching you through those results. Like what are you actually going to do with that information? Like a lot of people use the DISC for like hiring, and they hire the person, they do the DISC, and then it just literally sits on their desk in a folder with dust collecting. They don't do anything with that information. And so that's where, whether you seek it out with someone who's a DISC specialist or Enneagram specialist, you just want to make sure you're intentional about that. Don't let it be just another thing you do, another personality,
like, oh, cool. This is
cool. Great. Yeah. This is great. But what are you doing with it? Have you done anything with that information? If not, it was kind of a waste.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you also, I'm curious if this is related, just looking at your links and stuff, you have a breakthrough burnout quiz, that we've got a link to that we'll put in the show notes. So would that be a good way if somebody's like curious about this, and it would be a good way for them to,
for sure,
kind of learn more.
Yeah. Self-awareness is key. Again, that's what the Pro Scan helps you do, be more aware of your strengths and how you operate. And the burnout quiz is really helping you to kind of get a picture of, okay, are you on the verge of a burnout? Like, where are you? Let's just be real, be honest. And then with that, I put my best kind of breakthrough burnout tips for you. So now that you see where you are, you can get where you want to go just by implementing some of these simple tips. So that's really easy for you to go in and stay connected to me. I'm also on Instagram, Martine Williams, and then my website is martinewilliams.com. So those are the best places to find me.
Wonderful. Yeah. And we'll put those links in the show notes, just make it easier to click and come check
Yes.
it out. This is so interesting. It's so funny. I'm sure you kind of, I don't know if you can relate, like podcasting. Every person I talk to, I feel like I'm like, always, oh, I want to do their thing. I want to do their thing. Like
I know.
I interviewed a woman that owns a thermography clinic. I like called to set up my appointment there. I interviewed a friend of mine does EMDR. We talked through that, and I was like, Rachel, I think I need to go.
Yes, I know. I
It's
know.
so funny learning, just it's amazing. It's amazing that they, there are resources
Mm-hmm.
to help,
Yeah.
and people like you that are passionate about what they do and helping women, just really get unstuck, like you've talked about, get
Yeah.
unstuck in life and move forward. I think that's what
Yeah.
anyone listening to this podcast probably wants. I think, the women that I end up working with are ambitious. And so
Mhm.
they're, wanting more in life, and they
Yeah.
might be burning out, like you said, because of this, and maybe operating in maybe
Yeah.
outside their strengths or things like that. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that quiz could be, eye-opening for them.
Yeah. Because it's the simple things. A lot of times burnout does not come from doing too much, it's doing too little of what actually brings you joy. So I really want you to think about that as you're looking at your schedules and you're looking at the things you're doing. It may not be that you're overworking. Like I just had this conversation with one of my clients, and she did kind of a time log, and she was writing down all the hours that she was working. And when we came back to the next call, she was like, I'm really only working 26 hours a week. She goes, so I'm not overworking. And it just really kind of confirmed and validated what I was trying to say to her, is that it's not that you're overworking, it's that you're doing too little of what actually is bringing you joy. So even those 26 hours that you're working, and listen, we all have things in the business and our careers we don't like to do. That's just life. Laundry is a great example for me as a mom. Like I don't like doing the laundry, but it has to get done if I want clean clothes for myself and my family, right? But if you can think about the small ways, what are some of the small things that actually do bring you joy, and make sure you're scheduling them in, because we don't find time, we make time for those things. And if you're looking for the time or you're thinking you're going to find it, it's just not going to happen. You have to create that space and give yourself time to pour in, because as moms, we're constantly pouring out. So just keep that in mind. Like if you're like, I don't feel like I'm overworking, it may not be that you're overworking. It really may not be. It may just be either you're not operating in your strengths and you're improving energy all the time, trying to prove to your friends that you're this mom or you're this career woman, or, whatever that is for you. Or you're just not doing anything fun for the sake of fun and the sake of taking care of yourself. We've somehow over the years bought this lie that everything we do has to have a productive end, or it's a waste of time. And that's just not true. There are absolutely ways and reasons to just be some days, and to just have fun and laugh for the sake of fun and laughter. I don't know where we have adopted that belief, but we have as women. Like everything we do has to be. And then it's like the lie of one day I'll get back to having fun. One day I'll get back to, and we all know that day never comes. So you have to decide, day one is today. Maybe today is your day one listening to this podcast. Like I'm going to find something today that brings me joy. I'm going to get back to some of the things that I used to love to do as a child that I let go of as I became an adult. It really is that simple. Just think back to some of those things, and that's a great place to start.
Yeah. Wow. This has been so good. I'm like,
Awesome.
I've made notes. I was like, we're definitely going to clip that last little part and put that. It's going to be the highlight. I think that was just such a good, I agree. I've run into that myself of like, this isn't what's the outcome, right? Rather than being able to just be and enjoy, just feeling like that pressure to be productive. So
it all comes back to your thoughts about it. You're believing that there's going to be another day, and we've all seen over the years how fast life can change, how quickly life can change, and none of us are guaranteed another day. So why are we waiting for that one day to do something for fun or do something to pour into ourselves? Because we're not guaranteed that. So we needed to be doing that today.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So good. Oh, well, thank you so much, Martine. This has just been such an amazing episode. And I'm soaking it all in. So I know our listeners will be too, but we'll put the links. Yes. Go follow Martine on Instagram at Martine31Williams. We've got her website, martinewilliams.com, as well as her breakthrough burnout quiz and tips. So
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you. This was so fun. And as a podcast host too, like I know it's so many amazing people out there doing some really incredible work, and you're one of them. And I'm just so thankful for the opportunity to come on and share this conversation with your listeners.
oh, thank you. Thank you.